this is Nurse Marnisha. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how I survived my first clinical rotation in urgent care as a nurse practitioner student. So let's get started. I came prepared. Of course, I had my stethoscope, I had my notebooks for taking notes, I had a pen, actually many pens and highlighters, my lunch, and water. And of course, my handy dandy Tylenol or ibuprofen in case I had a headache. And my eagerness to learn. Alrighty, so I did pass the midterm and the final. Answered each question on the study guide to the fullest that I could. And I studied it and passed. I had to make time to study. So I literally had to look at the calendar and say, this is going to be a plot. These are going to be my study days for the midterm and the final. I'm a full-time student. I'm a full-time employee. I have 125 hours to complete each rotation, and that averaged about 16 hours a week. So on top of the full-time student, full-time employee, another 16 hours, my drive was 2.5 hours to the clinical site. And then you have to log each patient that you come in contact with, and there's assignments due. So there's a lot going on. It's all doable, but you just have to have good time management and organization. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues. I read using Read Aloud. Read Aloud. It's on your computer or laptop, and I just click it. It's a right click on my laptop, and it reads through the chapters, because I'm not the kind of person who can just sit with a book in my lap and just read. I can't do that. I will fall asleep. So I watched videos to refresh certain topics that just slip. You know, if you don't use them every day, you use them. If you don't use them, you lose them. So there were some topics that I did need to revisit. And I did that with videos, and I also did that with this clinical pathophysiology made ridiculously simple. And so that helped me, as well as the medical notebook, which I can't find right now. But those two things were handy for me when I was in clinicals, as well as the apps that I put on my phone. The one app I used on my phone was the Epocrates, EPOCRATES. And there is a free student offer when you sign up. And then the up to date, UPTO and then date. That is, I didn't find an app for that. It might be, but I used it on my laptop, and that helped me when I was in the urgent care. Sometimes I didn't have time to refer to those resources. Sometimes I had to think fast and quick because it's urgent care. And when it was time to present to the preceptor, I would have to go to him and say, you know, there's a 40-year-old female presenting today with right lower quadrant pain described as blah, 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 blah. So I would have to present the patient, to have the next appropriate step, my differential diagnosis, and if there was a follow-up that was required. So I had to present all. Now, I didn't do this when I first got there. I had to get there. It was an 8-week rotation, and eventually I was able to do all of this. But when I first got there, I walked into the patient's rooms with the preceptor or with another student that was there until I felt more comfortable and had the routine down. And you just have to fake it until you make it. You know, you have to walk into the room confident. You can't walk into the room going, hi, I'm Marnisha, I'm your nurse practitioner student. No, you have to walk in there with some, you know, confidence. Hi, my name is Marnisha. I'll be your nurse practitioner student today. I'm going to get you started for doctor. And that's how I entered the room. And by the end of my 8 weeks, I was trusted more. He allowed me to initiate visits. And sometimes I got there really early, so I was able to initiate those early visits and get those started for him. But I still had to present the patient and have a treatment plan and a follow-up. And of course, a differential diagnosis. I am in my next clinical rotation at a hospital, I'm following a hospitalist. There's another video coming for that, and thank you so much for coming back.